All right, man, let's head down to Gainesville. Talk about Florida Gators football. Haven't talked about them for a little bit. This is a team that obviously has the ability to acquire insane amounts of talent. They have, of course, the recruiting base that's absolutely outstanding. Florida is one of the elite, a true blue blood program in the SEC East and frankly in all of college football. And we've got some exciting news out of Florida that a recent addition to the program is blowing the coaching staff away already and could be a huge force come the regular season.
Yeah, Nick. And when you think Florida Gators, you look back in history, and this is one of, as you said, the biggest blue chip programs in recent memory. There's a lot of years of dominance from the Florida Gators. They were a powerhouse. And that's why when I think back, I want to know what the Florida fans, who is your quintessential Florida Gator? When they put on that Gator helmet, when they put on the blue uniform, who do you think of as your Florida Gator? There's a lot of really, really great options. You think Pounceys, you think Tebow, you think maybe a guy like Percy Harvin. A lot of really, really good Florida Gators out there. And we want to know in the comments below, who is your quintessential Florida Gator? But Nick, what is going on down in Gainesville?
Yeah, so anytime Florida is going for a little bit of a rebuild right now, obviously trying to get back to the glory days. And one of the things that people forgot when people talk about those great Gators, and you brought up a lot of those guys, great playmakers, obviously quarterbacks, running backs, those athlete kind of guys. They had great offensive lines, right? The Pouncey twins were absolutely outstanding. Left tackle, I forget his last name, I think it was Gilbert, but he was an absolutely awesome player as well. They were really good up front in the offensive line, and that really powered what they did. And that's one of the things Florida focused on during the transfer portal part of the offseason. They brought in former five-star recruit from Kentucky, Keonta Goodwin. And so far in spring ball, he has impressed the heck out of the coaches. This was reporting to sportsillustrated.com that in very short order, his size, athleticism, and his performance, he's played both left and right tackle so far in spring practice. The coaches are very impressed with what he's done. But one thing they're also very impressed with is his work ethic. This is a guy who came in with weight concerns. He's 6'8", 353 pounds. So he's a massive dude, but he has had some issues controlling his weight early in college career. But they said he's done a great job of that. In fact, he's actually lost 22 pounds and showing up at Gainesville. So that's a good sign, getting him closer to game shape. And if they can get a guy like Goodwin playing up to his five-star physical talent, getting them in any situation on the offensive line, whether it's left or right, rotational, however it works out for them going into the future, I think that's another sign that Florida is heading in the right direction. Because I know it's important to be great at quarterback, and I think they will be eventually as they figure out who's going to be their signal caller. But I really look back at the Florida, the glory years of Florida, they were really darn good up front. I think getting a guy like Goodwin on that same track, following that same direction, could be a sign that the Gators are heading back in that direction.
Yeah, Nick. And this guy looks destined for greatness in the offensive line category. I know we were talking about it beforehand. And I mentioned this is a big man, 6'8", 340. He is a monster. And I really like the comps, his potential NFL comps of the future. They say Orlando Brown of Baltimore Ravens, not junior, senior, the older one. And that guy was a monster as well. He was listed, somewhere around 6'7", 360 during his playing days. So these monster guys, a guy like Goodwin, he looks to be the part physically. And I like how you say, he struggled with weight issues, but he's coming in. He's a little leaner, a little, more trim. And he's going to be able to get on this Florida Gators offensive line and really do some work. I really think that this guy has potential to make some big noise this season and really cement his draft status as a big time player.
Yeah, and it's not just his talent there, of course, but his work ethic, keeping the weight down is great. But according to Rob Sale, their offensive line coach, this is a guy who's always in the coach's office, always talking about plays, trying to get the offense under his belt and things like that. Really impressed him with his off the field work as well, trying to get the playbook under control, correcting any weaknesses he has in the mental game. This is a guy. Some of these young guys that maybe didn't work out in their original destinations and have to transfer, they can turn out to be legitimate superstars. I think the most famous example, is Joe Burrow. Obviously, what happened at Ohio State going to LSU. Goodwin, obviously, it's going to be a different dynamic, obviously not playing that quarterback position. But sometimes where these guys originally start out, it's just not a good fit for any number of reasons. It seems like Goodwin has found a home in Gainesville. He's impressing the coaches on the field and the practice field right now. He's doing the right things off the field. And it's not just in the football department either. He's done a lot of work in the community. He's a very active person, seems to be very mature, very responsible. All those things you want any kind of player that can be a linchpin of your offense going forward. And right now, if I'm a Gators fan, you see a guy like Goodwin and everything he's heading in the positive direction. If you get some more of that going, a few other guys follow that track, and you can build some momentum and be a real force in the SEC East going into 2023.